1 2 1 2. One, two, 1 2. Okay, microphone works. Uh, just sending the link. A couple, about 3 groups. Not big. Nothing big. Okay. All right. So here, this is a different type of live. I was studying, researching. I just say, you know what? Let me just share to the listeners of what I research and study when I'm not on a live stream. What am I doing? What am I reading? Thanks to Melvin, I got this PDF. So I'm studying this. You dig? So that's all. You're just getting a bird's eye view of what Bias Sports be doing when he has some free time. As you can see, I love to read and study new things or become sharper on old things. Anyway, let's get into it. So the Revolutionary Era. You know what I hate too? When I'm talking, I think my voice kind of deep when I talk in real life. But when I listen to playback, man, my voice be all squeaky, sounding like YP. I hate that. So I might talk a little deeper. Anyway, the Revolutionary Era, 1773, 1789. Let me make this bigger. So right here, it says Declaration of Independence, the document asserting that the British colonies in what is now the United States declared themselves independent from Great Britain. The Declaration of Independence was signed in Philadelphia on July 4th, 1776. All right, let me do this right here. All right. Anyway, the popular and elite discontent with British rule. Okay, I'm skipping words. The popular and elite discontent with British colonial rule sparked the American Revolution. Okay, when the 13 colonies under British rule in North America revolted. The period began with the signing of the Declaration of Independence. At the outset, there was a cleavage between popular and elite interests. Popular interests wanted to keep government in each colony close to home and to rank and file citizens, and wanted each colony to have substantial independence from others. Elite interests advocated a national government with control over foreign policy, national assumption of state revolutionary war debts, and the ability to establish national rules for commerce. Popular interest won the first round of this battle. From 1777 to 1788, the Articles of Confederation governed the nation. So what governed the nation? The Articles of Confederation. They specified that the national government could not implement foreign or domestic policy, raise taxes, or regulate trade between the states without the cooperation of the individual states. So what piece of letter governed the nation? Articles of Confederation. What were they doing? Limiting the government's power. Okay. All right. So now we get into some of the arguments, some of the contention within this country. Some, as you can see, some whites are for states to control themselves and have more authority over government, and some are for government to have more control than the states. Okay, that's what's going on here. I'll read that one more time. Popular interest won the first round of this battle. From 1777 to 1788, the Articles of Confederation governed the nation. They specified that the national government would not implement foreign or domestic policy, raise taxes, or regulate trade between the states without the cooperation of the individual states. The limited powers of the national government under the Articles rested in legislature, but the states had to ratify most key decisions. States also established their own foreign, I hate when they do that, their own foreign policies, often different from each other. Okay. I don't know what kind of United States that was. Okay, so table 1, 8.1, political organization, political system, presidential system, regime history. Representative democracy, usually dated from the signing of the Declaration of Independence, 1776, or the Constitution, 1787. So you want to confuse those two. You don't want to confuse the Declaration of Independence signing and the Constitution. 1787, Constitution. Administrative structure, federalism, with powers shared between the national government and the 50 state governments. Separation of powers at the level of the national government among legislative, executive, and judicial branches. Give me 1 second. Caller. Yo. All right, all right, all right. We're back. Took a little phone call. Peace, Melvin. Peace, the Watcher, Pure Black. Let me run it back, Turbo. Right, let me run it back, Turbo. So I'm starting from the Revolutionary Era. All right. So let's start from there. And this is good information. It's good. Anybody who loves history, right? They're gonna love history, right? No matter where it comes from, India, Australia, Africa. If you're a history buff, you're a history buff. I always had an interest for history. You dig, more than anything. This is why I was more. Can't even say that. I'm gonna say I was more interested in like American history, like African American history. So that's why I was more of a John Henrik Clark guy as opposed to a Dr. Ben. You dig? So anyway, even though Dr. Henrik Clark talked about other things as well, but he talked a lot about history in America. And he tied also, if he did touch on other countries, he would show relations with American history. Okay, anyway. So we're dealing with the Revolutionary Era, 1773 to 1789. Again, this is great history just to know. We're in the country, why not? You know, and a lot of things surrounded us. So the Declaration of Independence, the document asserting that the British colonies in what is now the United States declared themselves independent from Great Britain. The Declaration of Independence was signed in Philadelphia on July 4th, 1776. All right. So now we're going into the Revolutionary Era itself. So popular and elite discontent with British colonial rule sparked the American Revolution. Okay, let me bring it all the way in. There we go. When the 13 colonies under British rule in North America revolted, the period began with the signing of the Declaration of Independence. At the outset, there was a cleavage between popular and elite interests. Popular interests wanted to keep the government in each colony close to home and to rank and file citizens, and wanted each colony to have substantial independence from the others. Elite interests advocated a national government with control over foreign policy, national assumption of state Revolutionary War debts, and the ability to establish national rules for commerce. Okay, so popular interest won the first round of this battle. So we heard about different signings, different articles, but one that's not too familiar today is from 1777 to 1788, the Articles of Confederation. So a lot of people are not aware of the Articles of Confederation. What is that? They governed the nation from 1777 to 1788. They specified that the national government could not. All right. So in just a nutshell, the government didn't have a lot of power. The states had the power. Okay. Articles of Confederation governed the nation. They specified that the national government could not implement foreign or domestic policy, raise taxes, or regulate trade between the states without the cooperation of the individual states. The limited powers of the national government under the Articles rested in a legislature, but the states had to ratify most key decisions. States also established their own foreign policies, often different from each other. They also established their own fiscal policies and financed states' budgets through extensive borrowing. Okay, so before we go into that, let's check out Table 8.1, Political Organization. So I got this PDF from Melvin. So this is called The Making of the Modern American State. The Making of the Modern American State. So regime history, representative democracy, usually dated from the signing of the Declaration of Independence, 1776, or the Constitution, 1787. Administrative structure, federalism, with power shared between the national government and the 50 state governments, separation of powers at the level of the national government among legislative, executive, and judicial branches. Executive, president, directly elected with electoral college that officially elects president and vice president. for 4-year term. The cabinet is an advisory group of heads of major federal agencies and other senior officials selected by president to aid in decision making, but with no formal authority. Legislator, bicameral Congress composed of a lower house, House of Representatives of 435 members serving 2-year terms, and an upper house Senate of 100 members, 2 from each state, serving 6-year terms, elected in single member districts, or in the case of the Senate states, by simple plurality. Some states require a majority of voters. Judiciary, Supreme Court with 9 justices nominated by president and confirmed by Senate, with life tenure, has specified original and appellate jurisdiction and exercises the power of judicial review, can declare acts of the legislature and executive unconstitutional and therefore null and void. Party system, essentially a 2-party system, Republican and Democrat, with relatively weak and fractionalized parties. More than in most representative democracies, the personal following of candidates remain very important. So back to the history. The Constitution maintained most power with the states, but granted the federal or national government authority over commerce and foreign and military policy. It also gave the federal government the power to levy taxes, thus providing a source of financial independence of the states. It set out the tripartite structure of independent Congress, judiciary, and executive. And most important, it created a president with powers independent of the legislature. The Constitution delegated specific but limited powers to the national government in Article 1, Section 8. Okay? These included establishing post office and roads, coining money, promoting the progress of science, raising and supporting an army and navy, and establishing a uniform role of naturalization. These powers implicitly granted the federal government the power to create a national economy. Finally, the Constitution limited citizens' voice in government. Presidents were elected indirectly through the Electoral College, a body of political insiders from each state elected on election day, and who met the following month to elect the president. Although the framers thought the Electoral College would exercise independent judgment about who would make the best president, it eventually became a rubber stamp that ratified the results of popular elections for president held in each state. Members of the Senate were originally elected by the legislators. Only members of the House of Representatives were elected by the people, and state legislators determined who within the state was entitled to vote for members of the House. At first, in most states, only property-holding men held the votes. By the 1840s, suffrage was broadened to include most white adult men. Women did not receive voting rights nationally until 1920. And it goes without saying that slaves could not vote. Okay, give me a second. Let me get this. Like I said, it's good history, it's necessary history. Stu Pease, Mongo Slide, Peace, the Brothers UK. I think history like this is great. Again, the more information you know, especially relevant information, the less likely pseudo arguments have any validity. So anyway. Let me just pause for a second. So let me explain why this live is even necessary, or even why I decided to do it. I was studying, I was reading this book, this PDF book, and I said, you know what, let me just share, instead of just making my findings private, so let me just read this stuff openly to whoever's interested in the live. So we all just learn together. It's like a bird's eye view of what I research and read in my private space. Okay, so you can't do a highlight. I can't highlight. Anyway, so I'm right there where it says, as popular support for ratifying the newly drafted Constitution grew, many who supported the Articles of Confederation made a new demand. Okay, so who were the many who supported the Articles of Confederation? Okay, so those were those who felt like the states should have most of the power over government, right? That's largely the South. Okay, who do you call Republicans today? Right here says the new Constitution should include enumerated protections for individuals from governmental power. Meeting this demand for a Bill of Rights was necessary to ensure ratification of the Constitution. Among the most important provisions of the Bill of Rights have been freedom of speech, assembly, and the press. That's number one. So when I show you the videos of the people with the camcorders in public buildings and public property, okay, those people are exercising their First Amendment, which is the press. Okay, so the press is every American citizen, right? You all have the freedom of press. You all are press. You can record, take pictures everywhere where if you're in the public, right? Where you're publicly allowed to be and access public things. You're allowed to become press. There are no credentials other than the First Amendment. So when people ask you what's your credentials, if you claim to be press, they really just mess. Your credentials are the Bill of Rights. So just to finish this, it says, among the most important provisions of the Bill of Rights have been freedom, I read that, freedom of speech, assembly, and the press. So this is the most important provisions of the Bill of Rights. Since federal judges interpret these rights along with the Constitution as a whole, the federal courts played a growing role in the national government. This became particularly evident in the 20th century. Hey, peace, Melvin.
Hey, peace and bias. What's going on?
Not much, just enjoying this PDF you sent me.
Yeah, it's very thorough, man. It's very thorough. Explains the foundation of American politics.
Right. Which, I believe is a must read if you're going to be in this country. So did you want to add on, take over, anything like that?
If you want, I can do some reading. Let me see where you're at. See Civil War structure. Okay, so you're at 330. All right. Did you start this section yet or no?
Nope. This is brand new.
Okay. So it starts off, the morality of slavery convulsed the nation before the Civil War, but the war itself began over the question of whether the states or the national government should be dominant. Many states believed that they could reject specific federal laws whenever Congress threatened to pass legislation to restrict slavery in the South. One or more Southern state legislatures threatened to nullify it. Many believed that if any state could nullify federal laws, the Union would be put at risk. It took the Civil War, the bloodiest war in the United States history, to resolve this issue in favor of the indivisibility of the Union. The war also established national citizenship to supplement state citizenship, which had existed even before the Constitution, establishing national citizenship began a slow process that eventually culminated in the New Deal during the Great Depression of the 1930s, as citizens looked to the federal government to meet their basic needs in times of national crisis.
Let me scroll up.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm reading on mine, so I'm not really looking at the Zoom, but good. Okay.
Okay.
To establish full citizenship for the freed slaves, Congress revisited the question of individual liberties and citizenship. The post-Civil War debates on the relationship of citizens to the national government established several important principles that were codified in the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. That's 1868. First, it extended the citizen rights and protections of the Bill of Rights to cover actions by states as well as by the federal government. Second, it extended citizenship to all persons born in the United States. This made U.S. citizens a freed slave and also guaranteed that the United States born children of immigrants were U.S. citizens at birth. Third, Congress sought to establish federal regulation of voting and to grant the vote to African Americans. When the federal government failed to continue enforcing Black voting rights in the period at the post-Civil War Reconstruction, African Americans, particularly in the South, were routinely prevented, by violence if needed be, from exercising the vote to the Voting Rights Act in 1965. The fundamental guarantees that ensure voting rights today, limited prerogatives originally recognized in the Constitution as the belonging exclusively to the states.
So you said you're reading from your device?
Yeah, I'm reading from my device.
Okay. And now, right there, it says that whites, had a problem with blacks exercising their right and their freedom to vote. So,
Right.
So that should make somebody rethink. If they hold the position that your vote doesn't count, I mean, damn. If your vote doesn't count, these white folks really believe it does. And they said violence if need be. They stepping in to make sure you can't vote. Then they pass laws where you're a felon and all type of voter suppression. So there's a people in this country that really believe your vote counts. And they're really going out their way to stop your vote from counting. So.
Right. Yeah, they don't want you to have a voice. They know that by voting, you have a voice. You can impact change in the government, whether it's federal, state, local. And so they want to prevent that. So that's basically what's going on. You want me to continue with the New Deal?
Yeah.
Okay. So the New Deal era, 1933 to 1940, the third critical juncture in the United States political development was the New Deal, the policy package fashioned by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt as a response to the economic crisis of the Great Depression. After constitutional challenges were overcome to expanding the role of the federal government, the Roosevelt administration used its constitutional power to regulate interstate commerce to expand federal, next page, regulation of business. The New Deal also established a nationally guaranteed safety net, which included such programs as Social Security to provide monthly payments to retired workers, as well as programs to provide housing for the working poor and food subsidies for children in poor households. The federal government also subsidized agriculture and protected farmers against the cyclical nature of demand. Once the legislative and judicial battles waged to establish these policies were won, they represented a fundamental expansion of the role of the federal government.
But you want to read on the side where it says Social Security?
Oh yeah, I see that. Social Security, national systems of contributory and non-contributory benefits to provide assistance for the elderly, sick, disabled, unemployed, and others similarly in need of assistance.
Okay. Yep.
Right, appreciate that. As a result of the New Deal and the subsequent programs of following decades, the federal government now asserted dominance over the states in delivering services to the people. Equally important, During the New Deal, the presidency asserted dominance over the Congress in policymaking. Franklin Roosevelt found powers that no previous president had exercised. All post New Deal presidents are much more powerful than any of their predecessors, except perhaps for Abraham Lincoln.
Dang.
Although the New Deal programs represented a significant change from the policies that preceded the Great Depression, they also reflected underlying American political values. As the 1930s depression came to a close and Nazi Germany under Adolf Hitler launched into war in Europe, along with Japan's aggression in Asia, the United States geared up for war. Although the United States had previously been involved in international conflicts beyond its borders, the experience of World War II was different, both at the beginning and the end of United States involvement. The United States entered the war after Germany's ally, Japan, attacked the United States at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. And after the war, the United States initiated and implemented a multilateral strategy to contain the Soviet Union.
Okay, so we could start right there and reflect on what stood out. I said we can start right there and just, reflect on what we read, what stood out. So what I get from reading this, right? The Articles of, what's it called? Confederation. Let me find it. It's called Articles of Confederation. So at that time, the states had more power than government, right? And then the Bill of Rights replaced that, and it gave government more power over states. So I believe that's been the stance, right, from certain Southern whites, Republicans. Like they feel like the government has too much power, and they feel like some of the power should be given back to states where they're equal, or some of them feel like the states should have more power than the government. So this is why a lot of things are questioned that arise from government. This is why they undermine government. They have these conspiracy theories about government, things like that. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think once the federal government decided to step in, they really kind of flexed their authority over the states, and this allowed them to kind of dictate how each state would act, being that the people were benefited by the national system of Social Security. And so that opened the door for other programs, other policies, things like that.
Right. And how you feel about bitter people, bitter whites, butthurt whites who decide to whisper these conspiracy theories, and somehow they make it to the Black community, because we already, we don't know what's going on. All we know is that they all white. So now you got whites whispering to us which whites are the ones who are responsible for our condition, our oppression, and
bitter whites have always kind of existed. I think since the end of the Civil War, they were always bitter after the South lost their war. So unfortunately, that's just part of the society that we have to kind of deal with, because they're not satisfied with the results that they have, the limited power that they have, or the limited influence that they have. So it only makes sense that they go to other cultures, other subcultures, other people, and try to convince them otherwise in order to try to gain back some sort of control or influence.
Yep, and that's the American way. Like the women's suffrage,
right?
The women's suffrage movement, right? They're going to reach all women. So I'm trying to tell guys to hop on the show that think because you talk to a certain group, in a country, that you are aligning yourself with them. No, you are going to a particular group because they have women too. So if you are pushing a women's suffrage movement, you want all women. You want African American women. You want women that's Hispanic descent. You want women that's in the movement of like the KKK. You want all women aboard your movement to push it.
Right. I agree.
So you're aligning them up with your movement. You're not necessarily aligning yourself up with their movement. So that's what goes on. Right.
A perfect example is when women were able to fight in the war, then they wanted voting rights. Well, women's voting rights required that all women be on board to get the voting rights. But
Yep.
again, that doesn't mean that white women support Black women agenda, or that
Right.
they support Asian women agenda, or Mexican women agenda, or Latino women. Like, that doesn't mean they support each other's agenda, because they're going to vote differently,
Right.
relative to what the needs and benefits and wants of each subculture is. But the fact that they wanted to vote, period, they kind of aligned or appeared to align with each other to get the goal accomplished.
Yep. And like I said, that's the American way. The American way is try to get as many people on board with your idea, regardless of race, class, creed, political, religious views. That's irrelevant. You want your cause pushed, and that's it.
Exactly.
So I'll take the next part where it says divided government, frequently shifting partisan dominance and political contestation of the scope of government, 1968 to the present. Well, I guess whenever this book was written. The fourth critical juncture, which began with, I think I need glasses. Let me make this bigger. So the fourth critical, I'm telling you, I miss easy words all the time. The fourth critical juncture, which began with Richard Nixon's election as president in 1968, is ongoing today. This critical juncture has two dimensions. First, the two political parties have routinely divided control of the presidency and Congress, with dominance of each branch of government shifting regularly. This division exacerbates the inefficiency that was designed into the American constitutional order, and the result increases popular distrust of government. So there you go. So
that's critical. That's key to the foundation of our politics. Like, they have each party has a certain level of influence in different levels of government, and they enforce that. We see that now with the takeover of the Democrats in office.
Yep. And I was trying to tell a brother that yesterday. I said, when you blame government, like, you got to understand, like, there's two agendas in government. So which party?
It really is three, but it's only two that matter. But yeah, you're right.
Right. So it says, see section 3. It says one party has replaced the other in the presidency 6 times since 1968. This division of the federal government between the parties and the routine shift in party control over the Congress of the presidency slow government response to controversial policy issues. The second dimension of the contemporary critical juncture emerges from the apparent inefficiency caused by divided government. Many in the United States began to question the increase in the scope of governmental services that began with the New Deal. The electoral roots of this popular revolt can be found in the passage of Proposition 13 by California voters in 1978, which limited California's ability to increase property taxes. The passage of Proposition 13 began an era that continues today, in which many citizens reject the expansion of government. There you go. Popular discontent in the contemporary era is not limited to taxes. It also focuses on the scope of government. This period saw popular mobilization to reshape government's involvement in values issues such as abortion. We had this discussion, same-sex marriage, and the role of religion. Advocates on all sides of these issues want government to protect their interests, while condemning government for allegedly promoting the interests of groups with opposition positions. So government can't win, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, the courts become the venue to shape government policies on social issues. Oh, and then there was a side, said property taxes levied by local governments on the assessed value of property. Property taxes are the primary way in which local jurisdictions in the United States pay for primary and secondary education. Because the value of property varies dramatically from neighborhood to neighborhood, the funding available for public facilities like schools and their quality also varies from place to place.
Right. So speaking of property taxes and Proposition 13 in California, the main complaint with that is that they knew that the property taxes would take a dip when the proposition was submitted in 78. But then the bigger picture was by the 2005, 2010s, that it would kick up so much more than what it originally was. So, and they knew that, and that's why like a lot of people tried to fight back against that. A lot of protesters tried to fight back against that, but unfortunately, they couldn't.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, let's scroll up. So it says, so we look at 9/11 here. It says, while divided government had become the norm in 1968, the division became even more razor thin starting in the late 1990s. Each election raises the possibility of a switch in partisan control of the Senate or the House, and the intense focus of both parties and interest groups on winning the handful of seats that could switch control of Congress from one party to the other. So September 11th, 2001, and its aftermath. It is in this environment that the United States responded to the terrorist attacks of September 11th on the New World Trade Center in New York and Pentagon in Washington, D.C. Initially, Congress and the populace rallied behind the president to increase the scope of federal law enforcement powers to provide financial assistance for New York City, the families of the victims of the attack, and the airlines. Popular support for President Bush and his administration's initial efforts to respond to the challenges of September 11th continued as the administration prepared for an invasion of Afghanistan. The initial post 9/11 domestic cohesion and international support for the United States dissipated quickly. The United States' efforts to extend the war on terrorism to Iraq became the focus of growing opposition to United States power and unilateralism in international affairs. So it says the interest groups. Okay, so first of all, this image shows the jets crashing into the Twin Towers. Interest groups, organizations that seek to represent the interests of their members in dealings with the government. Important examples are associations representing people with specific occupations, business interests, racial and ethnic groups, or age groups in society. So the four themes and the United States in a globalized world of states. Until the New Deal and World War II, the United States pursued a contradictory policy toward the rest of the world of states. It sought isolation from international politics, but unfettered access to international markets. World War II changed the first of these stances, at least at elite levels. See Section 2. The United States sought to shape international relations through multilateral organizations and military force. It designed multilateral international organizations that enabled it to have a disproportionate voice, for example, in the United Nations Security Council. With the end of the Cold War, some advocated a reduced role of U.S. government in the world of states, or at a minimum, a greater willingness to use a unilateral response to international military crisis. President Trump voiced similar concerns as a candidate. He has more latitude to change the United States for foreign policy than other leaders of advanced democracies, because foreign policies has rarely been central to the evolution of U.S. politics and governance, and Congress is more likely to defer to the executive on the direction of foreign policy than on domestic policy making.
Right.
Okay, so anyway, governing the economy, the conflict between the president and Congress, the centralization of federal power in the 20th century, and the growing concern about the cost and scope of government represent the central challenge to predicting the future direction of U.S. politics. Each one of these elements involves questioning how much the federal and state governments should regulate the economy. There will be no quick resolution. The Constitution slows resolution by creating a system of federalism and separation of powers. See Section 3. The federal and state governments have sought to manage the economy by promoting domestic manufacturing, exploiting the nation's natural resources, and regulating the banking sector while interfering little in the conduct of business, Section 2. As discussed below, this hands-off attitude towards economic regulation can come at a price.
All right, you got something on the right.
Okay, almost skipped that. Okay, can I go down? There we go. So separation of powers. An organization of political institutions within the state in which the executive, legislature, and judiciary have autonomous powers and no one branch dominates the others. This is the common pattern in presidential systems. In parliamentary systems, there is a fusion of powers. So did we read this section right here? You want to take that? The Democrat?
Yeah, I can take it. The democratic idea. Let me scroll it to mine. Okay. The democratic idea. The democratic idea in the United States context was one of an indirect representative democracy with checks on democratically elected leaders. The emergence of a strong national government beginning in the New Deal era meant that the national coalitions could often focus their demands on a single federal government rather than having to target a host of state governments as well. The decline in mediating institutions that can channel these demands produces the ability of individual citizens to influence the national government. See Section 4. In the contemporary era, however, many in US society challenge the size and scope of the federal government and seek a return to the state's focused polity that characterized the United States before the New Deal. You gonna make it going?
Yeah.
The politics of collective identity. As a nation of immigrants, the United States must unite immigrants and descendants of immigrants from Europe, Africa, Latin America, and Asia, along with the established US population. Previous waves of immigrants often experienced one or two generations of political and societal exclusion before becoming fully accepted participants in the society. Whether today's immigrants, particularly those who entered the United States without legal immigrant status, experience the same relatively rapid acculturation remains an open question. Preliminary evidence indicates that the process may be even quicker for immigrants who possess skills and education, but slower for those who do not. The United States has never fully remedied its longest lasting difference in collective identities with full economic and political incorporation of African Americans, which was central to the Civil War and Reconstruction era and remains a challenge to today's US politics. Definitely. Next is themes, comparisons.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Themes and comparisons. Scholars of US politics have often grappled with the theme of American exceptionalism, the idea that the United States is unique and cannot easily be compared to other countries. In several respects, the United States can be considered exceptional. Its geography and natural resources offer it advantages that few other nations can match. Its experience with mass representative democracy is longer than that of other nations. It has been able to expand the citizenry far beyond the descendants of the original citizens, and US society has been much less divided by class than have the societies of other states. The US Constitution, for all its limitations, has served as the model for constitutions of many newly independent nations. Some form of separation of powers have become the norm in democratic states. Similarly, district-based and single-member plurality (SMP) electoral systems, see Section 4, have been widely adopted to reduce conflict in multi-ethnic states, of which the United States was the first large-scale example. And that's key. You hear a lot of people talking about, well, the end of America is coming. And you have to be like, well, how is that the case when, one, there's no cultural difference? Literally anyone of any culture, any background can come into America, go through the process of being a citizen and fit right in, regardless of your cultural background, your ethnic background, etc. Now, of course, socially, there are, kind of stigmatizations and things that are placed on certain people. But regardless, you still could fit right in.
Right.
America has, like I said, it has the most experience of representing all people of all races, color, creed, religion with the democracy, and it also has expanded. I think our immigrants, now the amount of immigrants we take in on a yearly basis is larger than any other nation. And that's evidence that America is definitely not going anywhere anytime soon, unless any of that changes.
Right.
So I'll read here on the left, a single member plurality S&P electoral system. An electoral system in which candidates run for a single seat from a specific geographic district. The candidate receiving the most votes, that is, a plurality, wins, whether or not this amounts to a majority. S&P systems, unlike systems of proportional representation, increase the likelihood that two national coalition parties will form. All right, so it says here, where do you stand? The balance between powers of the federal and state governments have shifted considerably. Can you suggest how different government responsibilities should be distributed between levels of government? And another question is, can the United States afford to continue to be the world's policeman? Should it be the world's policeman? Good question.
So section 2 is another time. I just want to deal with one,
Right.
A day. You dig? So people have a reference point, so they're not, congested with a whole bunch of information.
Right.
But yeah, I found that book pretty good. And like I said, Melvin, I was reading it on my own, and I'm in a house. I'm being distracted. I'm watching YouTube,
right.
doing things. So I said, you know what? If I go live with this, I'll be forced to read this thing straight through.
Right. Right.
So now look, at one point I was gonna do it. I said, nah, I could do it without going live. So now my ego, you dig? I can do that going live. Before, I was like getting distracted, and before you know it, it's 11 o'clock. So I'm like, all right,
right. Right. You got phone calls, you get hungry, you're thirsty, somebody might try to distract you. Yeah, so yeah, it happens all the time. But...
And before there was a YouTube live, what I used to do before, I used to just get my video recorder and just press record, because I found out that if I record myself, I will read longer.
Right.
So
yeah, I would do the same thing with a voice recorder. You can pull up a voice recorder, and you could tell, you could listen, if there was a distraction or something, there'd be a long pause. It's like, okay, yeah, I got to get through this. So yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I call myself a solutionist. I always try to solve my own individual problems. And one was, how can I get myself to read when I'm distracted? And there you go. Go live, people tuning in, and now I'm forced to, be consistent. And then timed in as even better, not a burden was on me, and it provided for a great show. And like I said, great information. We get to see the role of government and the different branches and the history, the New Deal, the first, we got the Articles of Confederation, then the Bill of Rights replaced that. Then we see a whole bunch of other things going on. The Revolutionary War. We read about the Civil War, I think, or we did not. I'm not sure just yet.
We did.
Okay, good. Yeah, we did. So then we got to see the problem with government from some people. They just feel like it's expanding too much. They're too involved in other affairs, all different things. And then we got the parties joining in government, trying to control it,
Right.
And have it go their way. So hold on, we got Chris Harris. Chris hopping in. Hey, Chris.
What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm cool.
So are you from where are you from? Are you from a particular group? Facebook, I got the link. That's what I'm pretty much asking.
Yeah, I'm from Team Osiris.
Okay, I got you. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how you feel about, some things that we read, history, the making of this country before?
It's all part of the what I like to call the democratic process, right?
Mhm.
Because we live in a democracy.
Right.
And one of the things is I stand on the democratic principles of
Okay.
the country because I see that's what has given us a better life in this country. The nationalistic approach will not work because that
Right.
pits Americans against your cause. You have to take the democratic approach. That's the way that things are done. I noticed he was bringing up that First Amendment. Good shit. You know what I'm saying? That's excellent work because that First Amendment means a lot: freedom of press, freedom of speech, the right to organize politically. All of
Right.
those things are parts of your freedom of speech. And what we have going on right now, especially in the YouTube sector, is people just speaking against America, but and they want to take advantage of all the rights that America affords
Right.
them.
Right.
And I find that to be a little bit hypocritical. You know what I'm saying? Like I hear people talking about let's destroy the system. And then the next time I turn around, they're teaching stuff like Python. I'm like, come on, man, what are you doing? Your economics is tied directly, your economics is tied directly into the system. It's
Right.
not the people against the system. It's the people. We are the system. And we have to learn how to control the system and make it work for Americans. There ain't no such thing as black and white. We got to destroy that. All right, because those are social constructs. We got to destroy that. As long as we keep on saying black and white, us against them, it's always going to be America versus the nationalistic approach. That's why I tell people, look, black nationalism is beautiful, but it does not work when you're trying to grab an audience. Ask Marcus Garvey, ask Malcolm X, ask the Black Panthers. It does not work. That's all I want to say.
Very, very powerful, and it's what we said earlier. The women's suffrage movement, they didn't go after white women only, or they went after everybody. All when I say everybody, all women of nation, religious beliefs, whatever. They went after all women because they knew it was about pushing their cause first and foremost.
That's right. That's right. And one of the things I always said that Malcolm X faced was it was always him against the system. Now, one of the things first of all, America was not that acceptance of the nation of Islam, nor a Muslim country, a Muslim religion. America still isn't really accepting of the Muslim traditions or cultures. They just tolerate them. You understand what I'm saying? So when you have Malcolm X come around with his nationalism, separatist approach, because that's what it was, they began to push back against him and what he was speaking. Now, when you have a Martin Luther King come around, he begins to speak about everybody coming together and everybody working together to achieve a better democracy in this country. Malcolm believed in being separate from the country and achieving so that democracy can become realized within this country. Because we're going to be working out our kinks amongst our own people as long as we're separate. And by the time we come back together, you all know that speech. But I keep telling everybody, nationalism is fine. It's great. But what I'm trying to get people to understand is that won't work when you're dealing with a democratic process or a republic process. Those just don't work. Those ideologies won't work.
Okay, iPad just popped in. Whose iPad?
Two P's.
All right, Pete, how you doing? Pete, did you want to weigh in?
I'm enjoying what Chris is saying. Chris, big up yourself. Good conversation. I enjoy what Chris is saying, and I continue to listen. I don't disagree. So I enjoyed. I enjoyed the part where him say people who want to destroy the system, yet still telling about investment in the same system. Yeah, that was great. But if I have one pullback, is that although white and black are social construct, they take on different meaning in this society because perception becomes reality, where your level of competency as a black person, you have to prove it. Chris has been into workplace where he has worked, and people look on him sideways until they realize that he's extremely good at his job. Then he get respect. But the white dude get respect first without having he gets the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'd pull back on. Although it's a social construct, it does affect our people. But everything else, I'm behind him. All right.
Melvin, you want to comment?
No. It's just I was laughing at what you were saying. How people they speak down about the system, but then profit from it at the same time. Yeah, that was funny.
And it's funny because that's most of our panelists that come on here that has these anti-government, anti-American views. They come on here and you ask for solutions, and you don't hear one peep.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. What you get is when I hear brothers on the internet talking about these subjects, and I recently offered a scholastic push or political pushback against somebody saying, well, you got to tear down the system. And I said, so you want to collapse the economy? You understand what I'm saying? If you collapse the economy, now you'll have this country's enemies jumping on them. I said, that doesn't make any sense. I said, none of our political leaders, none of our civil leaders taught destroy the system. They taught upward mobility within the system, and they were fighting for equality to be within the system. They did not fight to be apart and separate from it. So all these ideologies are just people that are comfortable, they try to make it an issue of my blackness. You're going to try and make it an issue of my blackness because I'm saying we need to find a resolution within the system. Voting works. I don't care what nobody say. Voting works. That's how you got civil rights. And civil rights did not just begin in 1964. People need to get over that. It began in 1862. That's when civil rights bills began to get passed.
Yep.
All right. So we got to wake all the way up from that nightmare. All right. The black abolitionist, slave abolitionist movement. All these movements were for us to be equal or to be seen equal within the company. I mean, within in this society, it's not company, excuse me. So all of that, destroy the system. Okay, you don't have a plan. Well, now what you're trying to do is argue blackness. If I say I love America and my ancestors helped build this country, as a matter of fact, my culture shaped this country, all of a sudden I'm a coon or I'm a sellout. That don't make sense. I mean, we got to really start getting down to business here on what it is that you're saying, because any lazy motherfucker could sit back and just say, excuse me for cussing, could say destroy the system. That's easy to say. To destroy is easy.
Yeah, you ain't got nothing to lose.
Right. You ain't got nothing to lose. Okay, so where we gonna grow our food at? How we gonna get housing? You said destroy the system. No, economics is tied up in housing, food, agriculture. No matter what you say, you cannot collapse the economy. That's rule number one. If the people can't sustain itself, we're not gonna be able to fight the system. No army, no military, no weapons. No nothing, no GDP. Black people don't have a GDP in this country. Their own GDP, gross domesticated product. They don't have one. So how are we going to sustain ourselves? Oh, but it sounds good. It sounds good to say that. No, you want to know the difference between these brothers that be on YouTube versus the Black Panthers versus Malcolm versus Martin? They were facing gunfire and execution. Niggas on YouTube only face scrutiny and dislikes on their page. That's it. And so I ain't trying to hear it no more.
Bag right there.
That's the only thing. You know what I'm saying? I done studied it too much, but yet you're gonna use your freedom of speech to speak your mind that this country affords you. Man, you be in any Muslim country, you be in any other totalitarianist government, they'll kill your ass for saying some of the stuff you say against the leaders of this country. They would just kill you.
Thanks.
We are no longer continental Africans. We have shaped molded this country with our culture and our economics. We have a power base. We just got to learn how to take advantage of it and keep it within our community. That's all I want to say. Go ahead,
Let,
guys.
let alone the blood, tears, sacrifices that were made from those that came before us to make it so. Like, yeah, hell yeah. I mean, we got to embrace the fact that we are Americans. But something I'll say real quick, and I know everybody should probably want to say something. A lot of people don't realize that when you look at the Black Panthers and you look at some of the things that they pushed, and even when you look at Tulsa, Oklahoma, they benefited from the working class. They benefited from the poor Black working class. They took money from them to support their agenda. If that was not the case, Tulsa, Oklahoma would not have been Tulsa, Oklahoma. If that was not the case, there would not be no free breakfast program from the Black Panther Party. Period.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Black Panthers. Like, if you watch the movies, like you see that Huey P. Newton led with the Constitution. Like, he led with it. So I don't know how people.
As a matter of fact, the 10 points program that the the Black Panther Socialist Party produced, it came right out of the Declaration of Independence. People need to go read them and compare them. They tell you it came out of the Declaration of Independence. It came right out of it.
Yeah.
The same thing that the United States, the fathers of this country wanted. They were asking for the same things from the government, that we shouldn't be taxed,
and look,
et cetera, so on and so on.
And bro, I'm glad you said that, because a couple live shows ago, I asked my panelists in the chat, I said, yo, what problem you really have against the Constitution? I'm like, yo, I think we agree with everything on it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people haven't read it. That's
you know
thing.
what? Hey, look, here go the thing. No, listen, Melvin. I always do that too when I used to compare my eye. I used to always say, people, let's read my eye since you hate it so much. And I say, is that good or bad? They'll say, good, all 42 times. I'll say, so what's wrong with this? Now, if you read the Constitution, we have amendments that were added to the Constitution to make us inclusive. And it's not like it can't be it can't be embellished upon to this day. We're just not fighting the fight. We have become complacent. You understand what I'm saying? And we're not doing anything. It can be embellished upon. It can be added to. You don't need to rip it all up and start all over again. That is the foundation of your country. And that goes to show you how a serfdom people became independent in this country and now be seen as equal to their oppressor. You won't find that story nowhere else on earth. You won't find it. Show me. Show me. Not gonna find it. There are more Black millionaires in this country than anywhere in the world. If you don't believe me, turn on ESPN.
Right.
Turn on BET. I'll show you freedom of speech. And I always ask this question: what has the white man done to you lately? It's the media that produces this nonsense. And we're not saying racism do not exist. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is things can only get better if we begin to fight again. We have to use the democratic process. Throw that nationalistic bullshit away. Thank you.
That's a mic drop right there.
Yeah.
And this is why I started to call myself, like, you know what, all this pseudo stuff, we call it pseudo, right? All this pseudo stuff going around, like, man, I'm American, I'm done with that little pseudo talking point and this anti-American rhetoric. And listen, it is what it is. Like, I am Americanized. Everything about me is American viewpoint. When I leave this country, if I decide to leave this country, they're gonna recognize me as American. If I stay here and people come from abroad, they're gonna call me American. Everything about me is American. So you can be in denial. And then I started to view the holidays a little different. Like, listen, man, this is just the festivals of the country. If you go anywhere else, they're gonna have their festivals. And who knows the origins of China, Chinese festivals, and again, Afghanistan, Indian festivals. It is what it is. Yeah, so I'm not really spooked out anymore on that type of stuff. Stu P, Melvin, anything on that?
Nah, man. Yeah, like you said, the mic drop.
Right. And just weird talking points.
Yeah.
And like the brother said, all you do is put yourself in like harm's way. You make yourself a target unnecessarily. It's like, for what? Your own family start to point you out, push you out. Right? There's a better way to do things, and we all say this is checkers. We all say this is chess, not checkers. Then let's start playing chess. If you know about chess, you're moving pieces. It might not be your favorite piece, but you're moving it to serve an agenda, to serve a goal. And your favorite piece, sometimes you gotta let it go. For other reasons, checkmate, whatever else. Yeah, and I always said this is the conversation that should be had. Like we talk about, let me just say this: the Black community, we complain about our civil rights being violated. We complain about police brutality, all types of stuff. But then when we have a chance to learn about your civil liberties, nobody want to do that. It's like, yo, you have rights. There's some things that you don't have to comply to. So that means that your engagement with the officer could have been ended had you known how to end it peacefully without getting all crazy, just talking. And that's why I be showing those videos like this. And I say that unless you're in a stop and ID state, right? You don't got to show your ID unless the police officer suspect you've committed a crime. Not suspect you, is investigating and think you have committed a crime, right? So mere speculation is not good enough, because you got the right to ask that officer what crime you suspect me of, and whatever they say, they got to stick to. And then they got to do their investigation and then tie you into that crime. So a lot of our interactions can be peaceful, it can be avoided, it can be stopped immediately if we knew our civil liberties, which we don't. So when a police officer pull you over, they're used to you just complying with every demand. They ask you a question, you take it as a demand or a lawful order. They say, hey, come follow me over here, and you go do it. So I say the things that we think are affecting us the most, we refuse to be educated on those very things. We just want to talk and point fingers and stay in victim mode. And I was telling Amber yesterday that like you have like certain races throughout the world, we're playing a victim role on certain things where they try to justify bad behavior, injustice to us. But really, a lot of us do play victim role when we shouldn't be. Like there's just no answer. And again, when you hear our panelists, they'll complain, call everybody the devil, and you ask for a solution, or matter of fact, if we provide a solution, they'll shoot everyone down. Then you be like, well, damn, so what do we have left? And it's going to be like the whole prayer thing, or unity, which is same as prayer. Like these dreams, or mother plane got come down to save us. It's a whole bunch of things. So go ahead.
I was saying, yeah, I agree.
So I said, Melvin, I need some books on politics. I got to start getting into this stuff, reading what really makes this country move. And we got to start being educated in these things, because the more we're uneducated on, the more we're out of it, things can't happen. Nothing. We just got these crazy religious views on everything, and we stand by those things. So we got a Rasta man, Rashu, peace, boom. Indigenous black man. Where you at, Indigenous black man? My man been absent lately.
Oh. Yeah. I was going to ask you a question, Xavier. We blame Whitey for our downfall, but blame God for our upliftment.
Right.
And my observation is that we need to say, F this to all of this blame and upliftment. If we need to move forward, we need to take this dependent on the sky daddy out of our pocket and don't watch the white man. Because what I think about the white man is like, all right, a friend of mine back home was a gangster. Right? A friend of mine back home was a gangster.
Yeah.
And what him tell me one time, said, listen, the less interaction you have with the police, the better. The police is an entity where you cannot control. You have to find a way to do your things and navigate around them, yet still be successful. Your job is not to get into a confrontation with, right?
Right.
We know that systematic racism exists. It's a mountain, but our job is to navigate around it to get to our destiny. We might be able to tear it down over time, but not today. But not because we can't tear it down today mean that we must stop living. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we need to get rid of the dependence on God we need to get rid of it.
So Boom said, I'm not American. I'll pass on that one. Indigenous Black man says, but you'll believe in the government that allowed slavery, abortion, and genocide. Shaking my head. So these are the responses that we're going to continue to hear from some members of our community and our race. Peace, Dice man. What do you respond to that, Melvin or Stu Peace? The two comments I just read.
Hey man, that's an aspect of the community that unfortunately we can't get rid of.
Right.
It's a natural, byproduct of the community. And I blame social media. I think a lot of the problems that we, come across, especially within, the Black communities and Black environments online, is based off of social media. You got to think about like a lot of these people that have their position, their perspectives would have not been privy to such had the event of the internet or social media been possible. So you got to keep that in mind. Who is claiming Aboriginal or Moor or Hebrew prior to the internet? Like that's something you have to keep in mind.
Right.
No, people was claiming it, but my thing with indigenous,
But it was a minority though. It wasn't as broad as it is now. That's the difference.
Yeah. Well, that's right. But let me answer indigenous Black man savior. Go and tell the people who pray to Jesus every day, how them pray to Jesus, who allow rape, execution, slavery, genocide, famine, poverty. Why you don't go and tell those people, so why them pray to a God?
Right.
Who's supposed to be all seeing, all powerful, yet still all this thing happening in our society? Or people who pray to Allah. Or why don't tell the Muslims so why the sky plane don't come, or the sky wheel, or the sky helicopter, or the sky submarine? Why don't come yet?
Right.
Why don't tell the Moors the bullshit that they're talking about? Them is more. Them is what kind of people?
Sovereign.
Sovereign. How you supposed to be sovereign in the people in country? You're sovereign. You're sovereign in a state. Right? You're driving on the roads that are provided by the state. You're using the water that is provided by the state. You're using the electricity what the state had to provide. Right? The environment is clean because of the state. And you are existing within that state and saying that you're sovereign. You understand what I'm saying? How are you supposed to be sovereign and using people on the road? A sovereign person wouldn't use the roads of the state. He's going to make his own road.
Right,
No.
dependent on hell, but they're sovereign.
They're sovereign, but they're dependent on the state. Explain that to me.
Like you said, take advantage of all of the benefits that the state awards them.
Yeah, but you're sovereign.
I bet you they got that stimulus check.
Right. The sovereign, but they take the stimulus check.
Government pays some back rent. He said, all right, pay this rent first, and then I'll be sovereign. Catch me up on some bills, and I'll be sovereign again. Yeah, it's the most delusional position that one can take. But again, for me personally, again, just my belief system. Melvin said the internet inflamed things. I believe that, and right. I think one of the greatest inflammations was the Black Man is God movement. I think that really did us in. When we became God without any effort, we're just born inherently God. I think that's when, and I'm not saying the whole race, the whole black, I'm saying for a portion of us, I think that's when their fight left. So you mean it's almost like a white person being told that they're better than black folks, you know, in a trailer park.
No, but they are told that. They are told that.
I know. I'm saying it's equivalent. So that white person in a trailer park thinks no matter what Stu Pease could do better than them, how much you've been productive in this country, they'll all that you're still beneath them. Yeah, that's my point. My point is that Black Man is God thing did the same thing for us. It made us think no matter how much we have not contributed to society, how much we have not done, we're still better off than white folks because I'm God and he's not. No matter what he's done, all the contributions and production this person produced, I did nothing. I'm still better than him because I was born a certain way. So you're right. That's how certain white folks feel about black folks and our progression. That's how the Black Man is God. My opinion is how we start viewing ourselves and white folks. Like we could be failures to our community, but guess what? I'm still better than Bill Gates.
Although I don't believe in the whole Black Man is God thing, I understand why the need for it arose. I don't believe in it, but I understand why the need for it arose. And this I might be coming off topic a little, but let's be real here. The average black man among us, if you receive 100 compliments in your life, you receive a lot. The average black man in this room, in this panel, let's ask, how many compliments have you received this year unbiased? Unwarranted compliments. Somebody just tell us something nice.
Not a lot.
You can probably, and the year, this is December, and you probably can count on one hand how much unwarranted compliments you receive, even from the woman that you live with. People think that black men is not deserving of compliments. People never just come up to you and say, boy, unbiased, you know that you're a good dude because so and so and so. Keep it up. Right? So when you're telling a man that he's God, you're trying to build up himself and himself worth because you're not getting it anywhere else. So I understand where it comes from. Is it right? No, but
yeah. My only pushback to that is we're again, like Amber said yesterday, we're countering white folks again. We're mirroring and we keep trying to do what they're doing. Like they sat there and said that they're better than us, they're better than everybody in the world. And this is like their compliments. So what do we do? You know what? That's a good idea. It's false. And because of these sad compliments, now they are producing scientific racism. They're producing laws. They got slavery institutions, all these things to harm us because they're better than us. That's what happens with us. When we start to think we are born God, you start to look at everybody as peasants. And if you get any power, you start to see yourself inflicting this power on people who you believe are less than you, less deserving. And that's always going to happen. What I would say is, there's nothing wrong with telling somebody, yo, you're not what they taught. You're great. Those things, you're great. Those things are good. But I think when you start telling people that there are a God, and especially the way God is perceived in their mind, like the all-knowing, all that type of stuff. I think that's very dangerous.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous, yes, but let's be honest here. Let's be honest. We look around. All of us look around. And Unbiased said something a while ago, and although I said, what about Jesus? Is that in order, Marcus Garvey said that a man without self-confidence is twice defeated in the race of life. And with self-confidence, you have won the battle even before it has started. Marcus Garvey said that, right? Now, the problem is that the Black Man is God came out to the fact that Black men didn't have no confidence in self. A lot of Black men didn't see their self-worth. And you need to give somebody a level of confidence that before them even start the thing, they say, I got this. You ever so confident in something that when you're doing it, there's no stress? It's like you play basketball. If you go up to the free throw line, you got this. 2 free throw easy because you have been practicing for so many years, for so many hours, for so many days, that you got this. It's a less stressful situation. But when you don't have no confidence, every time you step up to the free throw line, it's like you're sweating bullets. Your heart rate race. You're fighting against your natural instinct to run. It's either fight to run or fight. Instead of you say, I got this. So if I will take away the Black man is God, but we're going to put the Black man is great or something in front of it because some people need to hear. Because some people haven't heard it. Many Black men has never received a compliment in their lifetime.
See, the only thing, if you say great, that's it. The Black man is great. Good. When you say greater, that's also scientific racism. So, and that's what I'm saying. Like you're taking their tools that don't do much for them, that just cause division and oppression, and then we apply it on ourselves to match them. And when you start using words like greater, better, I don't see how that's any different. Just on the Black side now.
True.
Yeah, I really believe that you were told you were great, and then you prove that all men are equal. You prove it through science, available science. You start to say, look, and you start to show how men are just the same. Humans, they got the same potential to do everything. And there are slight advantages in different races depending upon regions, right? Like, I forgot who's talking about the sprint. Like Black folks are the sprint, we sprint. We got something that makes us sprint. That's an advantage. But something white folks had in them and other races that gives them advantage. So we all got our advantages, and your advantage doesn't make you greater, just make you greater in that particular thing. And somebody else's advantage, racial advantage, or ethnicity, whatever, part of their genetic is going to make them greater in that particular thing. But if there's no need to sprint, then there's no real advantage. So that's all I'm saying. You can't fight white supremacy with white supremacy.
Sorry, my battery died on the iPad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just saying, like, you can't fight scientific racism with scientific racism. Like, you just teach the truth. Just teach that you are great, like anybody else is great inside you. All humans are pretty much the same. That's the truth according to science, and teach people science. For the first time, correct science about the biology, and prove that. Listen, there's no advantage somebody have over you.
Listen, how you going to preach people science that who believe that the white, as somebody just put it, the Black man, Allah created the Black man, he was buck-ass naked in space. He didn't need to eat because there was no food in space. He didn't need a bed. He wasn't cold. although space is a cold place, you know, because space is cold.
Definitely at that time, it was definitely freezing like a mug at that time.
There was no sun yet, you know, no sun. So the space was absolute zero, minus 273 Kelvin, because there was no sun to heat the place.
Wait, so are you calling Allah Frosty the snowman?
Eh? No, must because remember, you know, when he came into being, you know, when Allah came into being, you know, there was only the atom of life. No, I need somebody to research what is absolute zero. In the absence of heat, it is absolute zero, minus 273 Kelvin. At that temperature, I don't think atoms even vibrate.
Yeah, they do vibrate a lot when heat is present.
Right, but at that temperature, I don't think atoms vibrate. It is so cold that I don't think if you have a conductor, and I don't think electricity move at that temperature. Minus 273 degrees Kelvin. Right?
Yeah.
So no, Allah was in space at that time, and the atom of life was in space at that time. It might not be the space that we look up and see, you know, but there must be somewhere. If the atom of life existed, it must have existed in some space. That's why I'm saying space.
Right.
It must have existed in a place, and that place must have occupied space, because there's no such thing as a place that don't occupy some kind of space.
Right.
Right? A bedroom is a bedroom because it occupies the space, the four walls, and a bed is inside there.
Yeah.
Right? But Allah was nowhere, but the atom of life was somewhere.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So who created that somewhere where the atom of life was? Because Allah didn't exist yet, you know. You understand?
Yeah.
Allah didn't exist yet, you know. So Allah was nowhere. He didn't exist. But the atom of life exists. So it had to be somewhere or someplace. Right? So who created that place for the atom of life to exist?
Right.
Explain that to me.
Well, that's when they get quiet. You know, the people who challenge other or theories, you know, they hold them to the finest of scrutiny. When it comes to their own doctrine, their own belief set, there's no challenge. It's just approved. No trials, none of that stuff. It's just approved. This is government approved. This story.
So somewhere or someplace.
See, but that's my thing though, Stu Peace. When you try to give Black folks compliments, right? You want to help their self-esteem. Look where it goes. You tell them that they're God, and then they say, "Tell me more about that God guy." Well, that God guy starts from the atom of life in space, where he was nothing, he was nowhere, but he appeared somewhere. We don't know how. He just got there. But we don't believe in a mystery God, though. We don't believe in spookism. But somehow he got there. We don't know. But then he decided to self-create. Okay? He decided to do something without a brain, Stu Peace, because the brain came afterwards.
No, I want to know is that what you said the Greek would have said first there was nothing, there was the internet. Right? But Allah just appeared out of nowhere. Because he said Allah created himself, right?
Right.
What is the template that Allah used to create himself? How did Allah know it was all right to create himself in this form? What was the template? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What was a template.
Right.
Allah just decide that I am coming into existence.
The blueprint. Yeah,
I
I want
am.
fingers and toes. That's what I want. Fingers and toes.
And then Allah now come down in the form of Farad, F-A-R-A-D. So Farad,
Yeah.
Master Farad. What Farad last name is?
Wallace Farad. Yeah, Farad is the last name.
So it's Wallace Farad.
Yeah.
I'm going to draw back to some reference. At least the Queen of England will tell you that she don't have no last name. Because she don't need one. She's a queen.
Right.
Her children get what last name. But the succession line don't have the last name. They belong to the house that they belong to, the house of Windsor, the house of this. But once they're not in line, they get a last name. But God no get a last name. A last name didn't denote that you have a family line. That's where you get last name from, From family line. You have a last name because it said you belong to your father's line. So Wallace Farad, father, is the father of God.
Yep.
So God know, God in all glory. That's why I said, that's why if you follow the teaching of Jesus, but the guy said Joseph is Jesus' father, Listen to this. You realize there's a problem with it, God in all glory. I got encapsulate his seed into one man, so that man now going to be him father. So God have to give Joseph the ability to have Jesus as God,
Right.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Because no ordinary man can't have a God, Because if Joseph could have gods, all of Jesus' brothers would be God also, You understand?
Yeah.
What Jesus' brother James was not God to like Jesus. Them share the same father.
Right.
You understand?
Yep.
If them share the same father, it's rare that if you are 6'3", your brother is going to be 5'2", You're going to share similar traits if your father is your father. And if your father have the God gene, the ability to make God out of seed.
The God gene.
Of course, he must have had the God gene. But he made Jesus, who's a God. So where Jesus get it from? It's not Mary responsible for Jesus. Mary didn't have the God gene. It's Joseph had the God gene. So Jesus was the only one of them lucky children to inherit the God gene from him. It's regressive otherwise. It's not dominant.
Right. Yeah, it should be.
So how come James didn't get the God gene? The God gene.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
So Master Fraud Muhammad, father now, did have the God gene like Joseph. And Master Fraud Muhammad is the only one who was born a God.
I think his dad was a God, supposed to be.
So what was happening to the universe? What was happening to the universe?
Oh, by the way, each God only lives, I believe. So there's been many gods, by the way, and they believe that this been going on for at minimum 78 trillion years. So I believe each God lives 150,000 years or 150 years. I can't remember, but it's one of those two. And so when one God dies, another one comes about. but they can't tell you which God Moses was praying to.
So hold on there. So Allah only lived for 150 years? 150 years?
Or 100.
Eternal.
Yeah, let me find out exactly, but I do know it's one of those two.
I thought Allah was eternal.
No.
Allah only temporary?
Yeah.
Allah only temporary?
Yeah. The guys die and another one take over.
It's a question. So when Allah was created, then Allah was created 76 billion years ago, right?
78 trillion years ago, I believe. Yeah.
But Allah's still alive now.
Yeah, it's a new God. It's a new Allah.
It's not the same Allah that was created from the seed alive.
Nah, when Yaqub was here, he was the only Allah on the scene.
So Yaqub was Allah too?
Yeah.
No, man, stop. You're confusing me now.
No, I'm not.
Of course, let's start
Yaqub
over.
was the only Allah on the scene when he was living.
So Yaqub was created from the seed alive?
Yaqub was he's from the godhood.
No, I'm not asking who's the primordial God, who's the first God.
The first God is dead, and the first God is the one that created himself from the atom of light.
All right. So the second God is who now?
They don't know.
So where Yaqub fall in the God line?
I think he's like in the billions, like maybe 7th billion God, something like that. Don't forget, they stem from 70 trillion years ago.
So what happened to the God? The gods die?
Yeah. Yaqub died. Remember, it said he never made it to see the his creation. He died before that.
So all of that God power is then absorbed back into the universe?
I'm guessing so.
So in between when Yaqub dies and Yaqub alive, right? In between that time, in between when Yaqub dies and Yaqub alive, right?
Yep.
You hearing me?
Yeah.
Is there two Allah at any time? Or one Allah have to die first, then the second Allah born?
Yeah, from what I know, two Allahs can rule at the same time.
So there are periods at time when there's no Allah there.
No, there wasn't Allah, the white man. The white man was a new ruling God. So once Yaqub passed away, the white man took the godhood collectively.
No, explain. No. What I'm saying. All right. So who's the God now? The white man?
Yeah.
So Allah is a white man now?
Wait, well, my bad. I'm sorry. The white man was, I forgot. He was the God until the birth of Master Prophet Muhammad. My fault.
Okay, all right. But then when Fraud Muhammad came on the scene, wasn't the white man still alive?
Yeah, but his power was being diminished.
That means at that time you had two Allahs then, the white man and Fraud Muhammad.
Yeah, but I think the baton was passed at that point. It's almost like a president. You know, once Trump won, Obama was still president for a little while, and then Trump got full power in January. So like the same thing happens like that.
So no, but remember, I know the election night is November, right?
Yeah.
But Biden is still president until January.
Yeah. Yep.
January 10th.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Right. So Allah is president. And Yaqub is the white man is president, and Yaqub and Master Farah Muhammad is the president coming into power.
Right. That's how that played out.
between him and the swearing in, no, he was siphoning off the white man power into himself.
Say that again.
He was siphoning off.
Yeah.
So he came into his full power when he was teaching the most honorable,
Yep.
His Excellency, the Supreme Messenger of Allah.
Right.
Peace be unto you, Elijah Muhammad,
Yeah.
the most divine. So question. Remember another question about the sky plane.
Yeah.
Like, which bank was he using?
No, he paid him in $15 billion in gold.
Yeah, but where did he have it stored?
Probably in a mother plane.
What was the price of gold in 1927?
I don't know.
Let's look at it, please, because we want to know how much gold that is. So it's a
Okay, I'll tell you right now. It was
it was $20 an ounce.
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Right? So let's call it 1 billion ounces of gold, because 15 billion he paid he paid 15 billion, right?
Yeah.
It's $20 an ounce. So do the maths. So it's 750 million ounces of gold, right? 16 ounces in a pound.
Okay.
So 750 million divided by 16. People who needed to listen to me now. Fraud Muhammad had 750 divided by 16. 16 times 4, 4. Right? So we have 40 million pounds of gold. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? 40 million pounds of gold.
Right. He probably got it from Kemet. It's probably buried in the sand, and he uncovered it.
A pound. A pound. A pound is how much? 2,000 pounds is a ton, right?
Yeah.
2,000 pounds in a ton. So 40 million divided by 2,000. Let me get my calculator, because we need to see this. I'm going to tell you how much gold it is.
I'm trying to tell you, man, he got it like that. He was the second to Master Musa when it comes to riches. And who knows if he in the Master Musa line. And maybe he got the gold, it was inherited. He got it from Master Musa. You got to think about it like that.
20,000 ton. 20,000 ton of gold. Right? 20,000 ton. Not 2,000 ton, 20,000 ton.
20,000.
Right? How much the average tractor trailer carries? The average dumper truck carries in tons. Right? You watch the Bruce Willis show, Die Hard
Yeah,
2,
yeah,
when they had the truck full of goals.
yeah,
Eh?
yeah.
That's the amount of gold Fard Muhammad had.
God
Think
damn.
about Die Hard 2.
Yeah.
When they were emptying out the New York Gold Exchange,
Mhm.
and they used like 20 dump trucks.
God damn.
You understand? They use about 20 dump trucks. That's the amount of gold in 15 billion at the time.
Damn.
So where was Fard Muhammad keeping those dump trucks filled with gold?
Got paid off big time.
No, where did he have them? Where did he have 20 dump trucks? He had them in America? He had the gold in America?
It was probably in plain sight, but it's probably, hidden. Because don't forget, they were building something that they knew not what. So it's possible the gold could have been around, but just disguised. Like for example, like the Michael Jordan statue that's in Chicago. That could be gold with inside the outer plate. So you crack it open, that's a straight bar gold. So it could have been hidden in plain sight, something like that.
So you had that statue with gold. I needed to get 20 Mack dump trucks in your mind. Think about them. Right?
Yeah.
Right? 20 Max dump truck in your mind. And you stack them on top of each other. That's equivalent to a 2-bedroom, 10-story building.
What if they made the mother plane, then he took the mother plane, it was on some old, he contracted them and they get paid once the work is done. So once they built the plane, he took his plane, got the gold in it, and then brought it back. Or the 15 bomber jets was dropping the gold off one by one.
So they were working for fun.
Huh? Yeah. You see? Trying to tell you, Master Muhammad had that thing covered.
No. Because this is the greatest thing ever.
That's what they said. No man's ever seen anything like it. It could hide behind stars. It could stop and turn at the drop of a dime. It comes back for oxygen and helium, but it needs no fuel.
The Die Hard with the dump truck is Die Hard 3 or Die Hard 2? Die Hard 2.
I'm not sure which one it was. Let me check.
All right. I was right. It was 140 billion. Right? And for time, it was half the amount of gold.
So Teddy said 70,000 pounds for a tractor trailer.
70,000. So we're looking at what, 35 tons?
Is that what the math came out to be?
Yeah, 35 tons.
See?
How much tons was it? 2,000 tons?
Yeah. No, 20,000. I think you said 20,000
tons.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 100 tractor trailer? No, it even get more impressive now. Master Fard Muhammad had 100 tractor trailers.
Wait,
it
depends, because that's if you use tractor trailers. I just said, what if he paid them afterwards? He got the job done, took that big old, that mother plane is a planet. They call it a planet. All right. So that thing brought the gold over by itself.
But how you going to build it on Japan? How you going to build a planet on Japan? How are you going to build a planet on an island? Don't explain that to me. How are you going to build a planet on an island?
I'm sure I'll have a panelist later on this evening that can explain that.
You need to explain the 2,000 ton of gold.
20,000?
The 20,000 ton of gold, which require almost 1,000 tractor trailer. Because each tractor trailer carrying 35 tons. So 35 into 20,000 ton is almost 800. 800 tractor trailers. $800 tractor trailers full of gold. Have anybody here been to a truck stop? I don't think any truck stop in America can accommodate 800 trucks at one time.
800.
Now think about a truck stop. The average truck stop we got to can accommodate about 200 trucks, right? And you see how huge that place is just for 200 trucks or 300 trucks. So you're going to tell me that a truck stop, you can hide 800, the equivalent of 800 trucks full of gold. No, man. No. Peace, Ricardo.
.504 said the mother plane was like Noah's Ark. Indigenous said, Mansa Musa had a bunch of Tonka trucks too.
Yeah. Yeah, Mansa Musa was traveling to Mecca with so much gold. People don't realize how heavy gold is in this. Right?
Oh, let me see if I could find. Let me see.
No. This man had nearly 800, 1,000 tractor trailer equivalent of gold that he put to the island and Nepal, Japan. Right? How much gold the average container ship? How much container the average container ship carry? About 1,000 containers. The average container ship, you see, carries about 1,000 containers. I don't think it even carried that much. Right? No, I'm lying. The average container ship today.
How much?
No, the average container ship carry 24,000 containers. I need to get my calculator.
I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find which book has the knowledge on when God, what year God dies, how many years he lived before he dies.
So you're telling me that a creature, an entity that can create itself with the ability to die? That life is not everlasting?
Yeah, he created himself from the Adam of life, and Adam of life, he said, was always there.
Oh, question asked. Does the Muslim believe in eternity?
Just when it comes to the Adam of life and the birth record of the black man, because they can't find it.
No, no. The black man is eternal, right? When you die, where your spirit go?
Oh no, I think every black man dies. Like they get buried in a spirit. There ain't no spirit. So far, only two black men who has never died. And Farad Muhammad is one of them. And some would say Elijah Muhammad is the second one. They're on the mother plane.
Farad Muhammad is not a man. Farad Muhammad is a god.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. So hold on. The NOI don't believe in eternity.
Nah, not no eternal spirit. No.
You don't have an eternal spirit.
Now they believe in the black man collectively is eternal, because there's no beginning.
All right. So the other Muslim believe in eternity.
Yeah.
When you're dead, you get 76 virgin. Where them say you go?
You go to heaven.
Yeah, Orthodox Muslims believe in eternity.
So NOI don't believe in eternity? I never know that.
Yeah, no. Because what they say is they take the spook out of religion. Like their religion is more scientific. So they tell you, we don't believe in that spook stuff. No mystery guy here. People die, and there's no eternity, no heaven. Heaven's on earth, things like that.
So hold on. This even complicated the matter. No, unbiased. Let me ask you a question, please, because this complicates the matter. Let me explain how this complicates the matter. So all the black people who suffering now, today, suffering, Allah have the power, Fraud Muhammad and His Royal Majesty, the most blessed, imperial, gracious, peace be upon you, last messenger of Allah,
Right.
Elijah Muhammad, have the power to take the black man who is suffering out of the sufferation and does nothing.
No, they did something. They did something. They gave the black man the message to the black man, the book, and they gave you the messenger. They say if you reject the messenger, then you deserve everything. If you accept the messenger, then you will be a part of that great fold that is saved and protected.
Saved to go where? There's no eternity.
Yeah, but they had something called the hereafter.
What is the hereafter?
The hereafter is a designated place on earth where you're separate from white folks and their evils.
You? What died already?
No, the people who lived. So if you die, you're dead.
How it impact me who alive? who's suffering.
Okay, look, what they say is that seek peace in Allah and His Messenger, and hopefully you could place yourself in the hereafter before you die. So I guess the goal is to
It's
see the hereafter
mental.
before you die. Yeah.
Yes, it's mental. It's a sense of nirvana or spiritual peace on earth. It's a
Yeah.
mental thing, is what he explaining. Okay, that's cool.
Question? No, man. Stop. My head hurting me. I need to think. No. Because at least the Christians promises something great for the bullshit. The Christians tell us that you get to go to heaven with milk and honey, and you'll
Right.
be the savior. The Christians tell you that, right?
Yeah.
But the Muslim tell you that you don't, the NOI tell you that you don't even get shit.
You're gonna get peace.
You get peace.
Yeah.
Peace of what?
The
Peace of-
hereafter.
What peace you get? Peace of what?
Peace of the hereafter.
But you're not going to be in the hereafter for long.
Right.
Peace of mind. Peace of mind.
Yeah, peace of mind in the hereafter. And you can only have peace of mind in the hereafter.
So what about all of those people who died? That was know who died. NOI members who will know who died.
They are gone.
So they didn't get the opportunity after serving
Nope.
the most honorable, blessed unto him, most intelligent, most wonderful last prophet Elijah.
No, but at least it was a blessing to receive the words from Elijah. At least they witnessed, at least they experienced the messenger words.
Yeah, that ain't a good deal, yo. There go whack, yo.
So now,
Niggas,
so now what they say is they say the earth is your heaven, heaven's on earth, and it's what you make it. So if you take on the teachings, Allah's gonna bless you with success. So that's the trade-off. When you become a registered Muslim and you devote yourself to Allah, His Messenger, they're gonna bless you in all your work efforts, and you're supposed to be successful after a while.
Got you.
No, question. Let me both here are aware of this now. So the Muslim who can't find a dinner, who went to bed hungry tonight, who they pray to?
They pray to Allah and His Messenger.
And what's a promise? All right. The other day I was telling the young lady that she didn't have a contract anymore. So she's working for anything. What is the contract between the NOI members and Allah? What is the covenant?
So one of this answer you're not gonna like. Okay, so it's taught publicly in the Nation of Islam. Elijah Muhammad said, if you are broke, then you are no true follower of his. So if you broke, you're not a true follower. So the contract is to write your letter, get in line, and do the Lord's work.
And what the Lord give you back in return?
He give you success on earth, which is the real heaven.
So how many persons in the NOI are going to use Kevin Samuels, our high value men?
Look,
how many of them have 6-figure jobs?
Look, let me give you an answer from the Supreme Wisdom Lesson Book, first term examination assessment of Mr. Elijah Muhammad. This is number 11. The question is, will you sit at home and wait for for that mystery God to bring you food? Answer, emphatically no, Stupees. Me and my people, who have been lost from home for 379 years, have tried this so-called mystery God for bread, clothing, and a home, and we received nothing but hard times, hunger, naked, and out of doors. Also was beat and killed by the ones who advocated that kind of God, and no relief came to us until the Son of Man came to our aid by the name of our prophet. So in this book, he's not God. And our prophet, W.D. Farad. So that's another controversial issue there. Like in Farad's own book, he doesn't call himself God. So it was Elijah Muhammad who later called him God. So like that's a whole nother dilemma for you. That's a whole nother headache.
His son argued that also.
Yeah.
Elijah Muhammad's son argued that the older members in them said that Farad never called himself God. So it was a controversy, you know what I mean? Even between his son, that was the successor of Elijah Muhammad, claimed that his mother, Sister Clara Muhammad, and other older members said they was there from the beginning, and Farad never called himself God. So they didn't even know where that part of the teaching came from.
That's crazy. In his own words, he's regarded as the prophet.
No, but let's be honest here. The queen don't call herself the queen. And the king don't call himself the king.
Okay. Yeah, but guess what? He called himself a prophet.
Yeah, because what is a prophet? A prophet is somebody who tell you things as how it should be. So
Yeah.
although he's God, he can wear many hats. He can be a prophet and he can be God. And he can be the son of man also. Remember, he is the son of a man. And he can be the creator of man also. So Miss Man.
No. I think we have writings of title holders referring to themselves by those titles, though. Stupees. That's why you have sayings in certain monarchies' names in their own right, and as "Thus saith the king" or "Thus saith the queen," and decrees and stuff. So if he was writing something, and something is recorded to him, and he's not referring to himself in his title, then he probably didn't think of himself as that also. Like that would, you know what I mean?
Did Jesus Christ call himself God in any of the scriptures?
Nah, but he
That's
has
a whole
Peter.
nother situation.
Yeah, but he has Peter, who people call him, and when Peter answered, they call you the Son of the Living God. He blessed Peter, so he accepted the title, the Son of the Living God.
No. So this man now had $15 billion in 1920, the equivalent of $230 billion in today's money. Right? If he had $15 billion in gold in 1920, it will be equivalent to $3 trillion now. Right? So he paid for the ship in gold, right?
Yep.
So he had it in gold. So he had it, because it was $20 an ounce then. And gold is how much an ounce now? $5,000 an ounce?
Dang.
Yeah, something like that.
And don't forget, he had more. Don't forget, that's just what he paid the Japanese. I mean, he had way more money than that.
So he had 3 trillion. Oh, Jesus. And why didn't he just buy a country? Land. You could have bought the state of Utah at that time for about 100 million. Land was dirt cheap at that time. He didn't buy 1 million acres of land?
Nah, nope. He's not going to invest in this country and then destroy it later.
No, but he couldn't find a place for his people to rest in the hereafter. He couldn't have bought up and said, this is the hereafter. Come, my people, come and rest.
So I guess that's why he's asking for a separate state so he could do his work there.
But he could have, with $15 billion at that time, you could have bought something equivalent to a separate state.
Yeah, but the ninja mind will be there. You see? He don't want the ninja mind over there. So he can't do it like that. No, sir. No ninja mind where he owns and control. No, sir. He'll keep that ninja mind in America until that thing get right. He the all wise. Look, he already thought about that, Stu Peace. He's the all wise guy. He knew about the ninja mind. And no, sir, was he allowing that thing to come in his land. Corrupted.
What then? Why never go to Belize? Then land was for sale in South America. Why never go to Costa Rica?
Hey, I think one of his daughters live over there. So Master Prophet Muhammad has a daughter, by the way. So he had a baby, right? He was trying to make this God figure. Like his dad was trying to have a baby with the devil. And they had one baby, but it wasn't a man child. It was a girl child. So he said, damn, I missed. And they sent her off. She lives over there somewhere, one of those Hispanic islands, somewhere over there. And then he tried again, and they got the son. They got it right.
So Fraud Muhammad has children?
Fraud Muhammad he's a virgin. No. He has a sister.
No, who you say have a child?
Okay, so Master Prophet Muhammad's father, right? Remember, he's a jet black guy, real dark, and he took on a white woman, the devil. So they wanted to produce a man who could come into the United States that looks white because his dad couldn't get in the country. They said customs wouldn't allow. So they had to produce somebody who looks damn near white. Okay, so the first child they had was a woman, and they didn't want to. Yeah, they didn't believe she can do it, so they sent her off to Costa Rica somewhere, and then they had another child.
Oh, so she didn't get the God gene. The God gene's only passed on to male.
You heard what they said with Mary. Yep, the seed of David.
All right. So Fraud Muhammad, no. He came. He had to. So he was born outside of America, and he came to America.
That's right.
So the millions of black people here, none of them could have been the father or the mother. It had to be somebody outside of America to bring the message to Americans.
Can't have that ninja mind. Cannot have that ninja mind. That ninja mind is wicked.
So Fraud Muhammad came now. Right? How did he meet Elijah Muhammad? Sorry, how did he meet His Excellency, the most honorable, the most desirable, the most eloquent?
I'll tell you how. Your Majesty. So Master Prophet Muhammad was teaching the word. First of all, he was going to house to house selling silk. Getting in white folks' house. That part I don't know why he was doing that, but he was selling silk to I guess black folks too. So he was selling silk to black folks and like doing commerce with trade and things like that. So then when he do trades with them, he'll ask them questions about their history and things and their position in America. And he would teach them about themselves. So when he got enough to listen to him, he started to gather them in secret locations and teach them the knowledge itself. So that crowd drew the most excellence, Your Majesty, peace be upon him, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. So then he came, heard the word, and he knew everybody who Master Prophet Muhammad was teaching to did not recognize who he was. They think he's just a guy teaching it. They're just impressed. It took the most honorable Elijah Muhammad to realize who Master Prophet. He said, "I know who you are. you're the one the Bible speaks of. And he actually says this in an interview. Like he tells the whole story in one of those interviews. I know who you are. You're the Bible. And then Master Prophet Muhammad told him, shh, who else knows this? He said, nobody, just me. Said, okay, shh, don't tell nobody else. So then from there, he decided to teach him mouth to mouth.
Okay. So His Excellency, the most wonderful, most eloquent, best dressed, most divine, peace be upon you, Elijah Muhammad, had the same thing that Paul had. No, when not Paul, not
Peter.
light, it wasn't Mr. He saw the light that was fraud.
Peter. Yeah, so he had the Peter moment where he seen who Master Farad Muhammad for what he was. Oh, he said, okay, you're no mere prophet, you are God.
So question now. So what make the NOI Muslims? Are they Muslims?
Yes, they are.
How they are Muslims?
They're
They believe in
born
Allah
Muslim.
eternal. They don't believe in heaven. They don't believe in
Because-
a soul.
Right. So first of all, it's a bloodline. That's one. And secondly, a Muslim just means one who submits to Allah.
But Allah dead. It's fraud, Muhammad. No.
Yeah, but you got to submit to the divine essence that was left over, the work, and the work that Allah is real is what you see in a galaxy. That's the evidence of the first God.
So which Allah they praying to then? The first one or all the Allahs?
Everybody prays to the most powerful Allah of them all, and that's Master Prophet Muhammad. He's more powerful than the first God who created the heavens and the earth and all the cattle and everything. He's more powerful than him because what he did was he recreated the black man. So that is more powerful and amazing than creating the heavens and the earth and all the stars, moons, and water and all that type of stuff, all the planets. That's more impressive.
So he recreated the black man.
Right.
So before Fraud Muhammad, there were no black men.
The black man didn't understand the brown German side of him, so he couldn't master his weakness. So what I can do is I could read you that answer for once I get it again. But you had to know how to dominate your weakness, the brown German side. Without doing that, you will always succumb to it. So there's no way you could be a great black man if you're gonna at some point fall to your weakness.
Mm-mm. I tried to do the maths and honestly, blessed be upon him. There's no heaven. There's no promise of a better life. The only promise you have is that, listen, you follow me, you follow the teachings, and you may experience the hereafter.
Yeah.
It's not that you will, you may experience the hereafter.
You better pray. But meanwhile, you'll be blessed on earth to have all the friends and homes and walks of life.
So you'll get the blessing to can experience the material things.
Yeah.
When you go in front of when you used to go there, what kind of cars they used to drive?
Say that again.
What kind of cars the members used to drive?
Before when?
When you're a part of this.
Yeah, I don't think cars was promised you. I think have fine homes, friends of all walks of life. Okay, so I have a few I have a few answers for you.
Mhm.
Then why did God make devil? To show forth his power, that he is all wise and righteous, that he could make a devil, which is weak and wicked, and give the devil power to rule the earth for 6,000 years, and then destroy the devil in one day without falling victim to the devil's civilization. Otherwise, to show and prove that Allah is the God, always has been, always will be. That's the new man he created that could destroy the devil in one day. That could never happen before Master Prophet Muhammad. And here's a follow-up. Now tell us, would you? Okay, now here's the reward. The reward, hope, right? The whole stuff. It says, now tell us, would you hope? Would you that God, the devil, tell in a very clear look? This I keep. I fast and pray Allah in the name of His prophets. WD for They didn't say God. They say I fast and pray Allah in the name of His prophet. WD Farad, that I see the hereafter when Allah and see, I told you, I fast and pray Allah in the name of His prophet. So we got two separate lives. Okay, hold on. There's an issue here. We have it Allah and we have Allah's prophet. I fast and pray Allah in the name of His prophet. WD Farad, that I see. I'm praying to see the hereafter when Allah in the time of our right.
Yo, it sounds like Elijah Muhammad lied, yo. There's no way around it from what you just read and what everybody else said. It sounds like Elijah Muhammad lied, yo. Like that's just ain't no way around it at this point, yo. It just was called the prophet, and there was another Allah that sent the prophet, who was WD Fraud, so he couldn't be Allah at the same time. So their teachers is all convoluted. Somebody messed that shit up.
Yeah, that one. I don't know how they read past that one. You know, I'm gonna read this whole thing over because there's probably some more stuff in here.
Get DJ Focus in here, yo.
He's gonna hop on, but he don't want to deal with religion anymore.
Oh yeah, he done. He done. They can't defend that shit.
But we got brother Eric. I had a brother named Eric defending the teachings.
Yeah, that just killed them. But it was other people who kept saying that Farad wasn't God and didn't teach that. I think Elijah Muhammad had a brother that was supposed to be the leader, and he said that teaching was false, if I'm not mistaken. And they actually got into a fight where they tried to kill each other or something.
Yes.
Where him and his brother was actually beefing. See, yeah, there's a lot of stuff with that Nation of Islam stuff, man.
Yeah, I have the problem book. It says the problem book by Farad. It says the problem book by Prophet WD Farad, finder, not founder, finder of the lost nation of Asia.
Kind of the what? The lost nation of
Asia. Now listen to this. This lesson number 2 was given by our prophet, WD Farad, which contains 40 questions answered by Elijah Muhammad, one of the lost found in the wilderness of North America, February 20th, 1934. So I don't see the argument about the controversy with God, and like this whole book just keep reemphasizing Farad is a prophet. Every chance it gets, it reminds you that he's merely a prophet.
So who's so all right, then you have Allah, you have Farad, and you have His Excellency, the most honorable. Blessed be upon him. So you have those three. So that means they have their own Trinity then.
All right. So there's another Trinity that they had. I seen Farad, I seen Elijah, and I seen Minister Louis Farrakhan. I seen that Trinity.
No man, she just wanted to ride or die. The wife. Oh Lord. This is crazy. And these people actually believe in this shit.
So hold on. Elijah Muhammad is the messenger, right?
Yes.
So who is Farrakhan?
He's the reminder. He's called the reminder. He's gonna remind you of what I just said. Yeah.
Okay, he's the reminder of the messenger.
Yeah.
So he's a messenger too.
Yeah.
It's like if I send you a message and then I send you a reminder of the message, the reminder is a message too.
Yeah, right.
This shit is crazy.
He's a messenger of the original message.
Right. Dang. I don't know how you got caught up in that unbiased.
Well, I'll tell you why. For one of the reasons, I know they didn't have that stuff up front. That's some. They call it the hidden lesson. So like, they got me with all the black talk. We could, unify and the stuff DJ Focus talk about. But as soon as I got in there, all that talk went away. It's all about prayer and God and mothership.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that activism was gone. It was no more about going out there.
Oh, so you saying that's just a hook to get niggas?
Yeah, bro. At the minute that they realized that I was in,
they turned into Christians. The minute you signed up to turn into Christianity.
Yeah, immediately. And now I see some of Malcolm issues. Like, okay.
I'm saying the minute you sign up, they give you black power, the black man. The minute you sign up, like, oh shit, we Christians for real.
Trying to tell you, all that thought went away. It's all about all of our study class is about being a better believer.
But believe in what?
Being a believer in Allah's message and His messenger.
That if you follow Allah, message and messenger, you'll find peace, and you will probably, if you're lucky, get to the here and after. But if you're not lucky, you get just peace.
Yeah. You better hope you had some success, or your life was a waste.
So every NOI member is successful.
If he's not a true follower. That's the teaching. If you're not successful, you are not a true follower.
Not at all. And this is the junk people have been following for the last. I've never really heard it, but you break it down now. I thought that they went to heaven. Honestly.
Yeah, but it's your fault, Stu Pease, because you said that compliment was needed, and that compliment spawned all of that.
No, I understand the black man need a compliment to build up his self-esteem. Right? But so God died, the black man in God, and God dies. And when he dies, that's the end of him. But he lives on through his children.
A new guy. Well, Master Muhammad, I don't believe he could die. So I think he's here to stay. But the guys before him were fallible.
So Elijah, the most honorable, most reverend, most bestowed. He was resurrected, right?
No.
So he's not on the mothership.
Yeah, well, he never died, to some people. So the Nation of Islam is split. The believers are split on that. So let me just put it like this. The ones who are in the nation currently, who accepts the Honorable Louis Farrakhan as their reminder, he teaches that Elijah Muhammad is alive. So everybody who follows the reminder believes Elijah is alive. Most of the people, or at least half the people who don't accept the reminder, accepts that Elijah Muhammad is dead, and only Master Prophet Muhammad is on the mother will.
The ridiculousness, right? We had pictures of his wife and them crying at the funeral. Like, so how do you?
And one of his oldest sons said he was sitting there. He said, and he seen him in the morgue. He said he was the one that helped dress him. He said he combed his hair. He said, I know my dad, but they said somebody at the funeral said, looked in the casket and said, that's not Elijah. His mole. Now this story I got.
Yeah, they said something about a mole being on the
his
wrong
mole
side of his face.
was on it. You got the mole wrong.
His grandson. I think that was his grandson. I think his grandson had the story about, when he looked at his grandfather, the mole was on the wrong side of the face or something.
Yep.
Oh, God.
And when that happened, that's when Farrakhan said, yep, that's true. The mole's on the wrong side of the face. That ain't Elijah. And they call it escaping the death plot. He escaped the death plot. So I'm just trying to find the video about the gods. I think I'm getting close to finding it. Nope. Dang. I wonder if I deleted them.
So Malcolm believed that shit too?
Believe what?
About Yakub, the temporary nature of the God, that the hereafter.
So yeah, he definitely taught Yakub one time. I don't know any of any material with him talking about the mothership, but he taught Yakub one time, and it was a bunch of tapes, about 7 tapes. 7, 8 tapes. It was a big, series. Yeah, so but the other spooky stuff, yeah. Don't forget, he is the one to say, okay, according to Malcolm X, when he went to Mecca, he seen white folks. He thought it was impossible for white folks to go to Mecca because they got chased away. Remember the story?
Yeah,
Yakub? Remember they got chased away out of holy city Mecca with cherub bombs and with rifles, right? Remember they had rifles back then? And they were chased away from Mecca to never return. So when Malcolm X went to Mecca, he seen white folks there. That was one of the main things that broke his faith. He like, wait a minute. How did white folks get to the holy city of Mecca? The angels with rifles are supposed to protect the city. So when he was told that they were always there and how long they were there, that's when there's a problem. Like, oh my God, I was lied to. So he came back, and those were his very words. His very words were, I was told that it was divinely prohibited for white folks to enter Mecca. That's what he said. And he went over there and seen something different. And I'm still looking for that. I got so many YouTube accounts. I don't know which one I did. I put the all the gods, like they got 1 billion gods. And I can't find which account that I stuffed that information in. Oh yeah, I already went here. No, I didn't. Let me see if this is the channel right here. Yeah. So so now you know a lot. You know, well, you there's still more to know because I'm gonna. All right, so I think I found it. All right, okay. So I got some breaking news. Okay, I got some breaking news.
Go ahead.
All right, I actually found some stuff. And hey man, Chef, I found a video with the son. I think his oldest son saying, he's alive, saying that. Oh, and then I found the guys. Okay, right. So it's 2.5 billion guys. So I found my little archives. Okay, so I found some breaking news. This ain't gonna be good. All right. Okay, let me first debunk the teachings that the white man is born naturally a devil. Okay, here we go.
The devil is not a product of grafting. The devil is a...
Okay, let's stop that. He said the devil is not a product of grafting. Let's go back. So the members that got on here said that, they all lied.
The devil is not a product of grafting. The devil is a product of teaching devilishment, which is lying, stealing, and how to master the original man. He was taught how to do that.
Okay, so that was on my daggers way back in the day. All right, so the devil was not a result of the grafting process. The devil was a teaching, and he's right, because according to the story, they had literature. You know, Yaqub left literature for his laborers to follow. And then when the ready-made devils were ready-made, they were given literature how to destroy the black nation and how to continue devilishment. And when they went back, when it was allowed to go back to the holy city of devil, when they caused confusion and black on black crime, when they got rounded up with rifles and caravans, they also grabbed their doctrine, their literature. So their literature was always near them, wherever they went. Okay, so now, this is for Sheffin right here. This is Herbert Muhammad. This is one of the oldest sons of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Let me see if I can get this off. So it's for you, Stu Pease. It might not play. I don't know why it's not playing. Try one more time. If not, I'm gonna go to another video. All right, let's get past that. Let's go here. I wonder if anything's gonna play. Did DJ Focus flag me? No, I'll deal with that one later. So this is a prophecy from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said there will never be a black president in the United States. Okay. All right. So the government shut me down. Okay, so I'm not able to play the videos. Let's see what is going on here. So after that first one, they said, no. The government shut me down. Yeah, so it's not letting me play anything. Let me try it this way. I don't want to do that. Oh, how about the guy? Okay, this is for Stu Peace. Let's see if this plays. All right, so I don't know. Yeah, it's not letting me play anything. But it's funny because I can see it. All right, I can't tell you. You know what? Let me try to play it in Chrome. Because Safari, I hate Safari. Yeah, it's funny because it was Safari. All right, so those other videos, I'm going to play it in Chrome. So let me just share my screen. And let me show you a video. Here we go. This is for Stu Peace. All right, this is right. Okay, wait, let's get. Okay, so my bad. I said 150. I lied. So this is Our Savior Has Arrived, chapter 23. Okay, Stu Peace. It says, He allowed makes all new things. This is paragraph 51. He makes all new things. I told you He makes all new things. So this Allah is who? He came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. He makes new things. To whom praises are due forever. There you go. Hey, Stu Peace, there you go. We got some extra with him, extra title. To whom praises are due forever. He taught Shephren, he taught Elijah, the most honorable as Muhammad, every 25,000 years, each God coming after the other God made a new civilization. There you go. So start from 78 trillion years ago, every 25,000 years, since 70 trillion years ago, there was a new God with a new civilization. And the proof is Yaqub, because he created the white man and they came with a new civilization. All right, so hold that. So yeah, the guys died 25,000 years after each other. Now I'm gonna do this right here. So now I'm gonna show you the prophecy of there'll be no black president. Because Elijah Muhammad, he got to prove he a prophet.
And that the president of this country has always been a white man.
So the country of this president has always been a white one.
And as long as the stars and stripes
And as long as the stars have stripes,
are enacted, flag of this country, I said to you, all that goes into the White House, as
all that goes into the White House.
president of this country will be white.
All right, you heard it for yourself. All of the presidents that go into the White House from this country will be white. Okay, so I got one more for you. Then we're gonna call it a wrap. So I wonder if this is what I think it is. Let me see. So this is concerning when Yaqub made the Indians.
I was intrigued with our last discussion when I brought up the fact that I'm Cherokee Indian, and you were talking about what the white man had done to the Indians as well as all the other races. And I would like to know, Colleen, what is the teachings of Elijah?
Oh, you heard him? He's talking to Kaleem 6 years. So you see the date. This is actually before 6 years ago. But this is my man talk. He said, Kaleem, this is funny. Watch this.
The white man had done to the Indians as well as all the other races. And I would like to know, Colleen, what is the teachings of Elijah Muhammad concerning American Indians, Native Americans, whatever? I mean, concerning my people, what is Elijah Muhammad's teachings on that subject?
Yeah. On the Indians?
Yes.
On the current state? On the history? On what?
Well, actually,
just saying how where is the Indian fit in the teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad? I can answer that.
I'll give you
very
specifics
easily
to make it easier. That way you don't have to, run down everything. Just basically three questions. Number one, did Yaqub create the American Indians as well as the other races?
No, he did not.
He did not. Okay. Number two, my second question would be,
he teaches that the Indian is original. He's original to the planet, meaning that they were here already.
They were here already.
They were here. Yeah, they were here. They were original.
So Stupies, everybody, take that as a mental note. The Indian people was already here. They never were grafted in. So they were in space like everybody else.
He teaches that the Indian and the black man are original.
They're original.
In our student enrollment, it teaches that we teach that the 17 million at that time, black people, plus the 2 million Indians make up 19 million. 19 million here in the wilderness of North America of original people.
Well then, okay, that's interesting.
We included them, the Indian, with the black nation. We consider them the same.
Okay, so they're original.
So, right, they're definitely original.
Okay. Then why is it Yaqub would need to create, brown people and then yellow people and then?
No, that's just part of the process. No, hold on, wait a minute. Because let me just clear all that up.
Okay.
Okay, in order to get from black to white, he created a process of that. That doesn't mean that they weren't here already. They were here already. But getting to the black to the white, you had to constantly separate the germs.
Well, why wouldn't he start with the brown since they were already here?
No, he started with the black. Okay, because those were his followers.
Okay, but why not start with the brown?
Because they weren't his followers.
So
remember, he only had it was a small amount of people who started.
He started with the people.
60,000. That's like Reverend Sun Young Moon. Majority of his followers are Korean.
Okay,
he started with Koreans.
He started
you know what I'm saying? Confucius started with Chinese.
Started with the
eventually other people came, but I'm just saying he started with black, and then through that process came white.
Okay. Well,
so the Indian is original.
The Indian's original.
Yeah,
okay.
The original were always here.
Okay.
They're original. Okay.
Now the next.
So there you go. So I forgot about that part. The Native Americans, the Indians, were always here with the black man. Okay, now, so on that right there, I got a class at 4. I got to send them the Zoom link. Afterwards, Stu Pete, we're going to revisit some of this stuff, and hopefully we have a new guest to deal with some of Stu P's concerns regarding the gold and the prophethood of Master Prophet Muhammad, the clear separation in the Supreme Wisdom Book from Allah and Master Prophet Muhammad. Some of these talking points. Okay, and now the Native Americans are original as a black man. They always been here. So this is going to be some real scientific discussion here. It might be pseudoscientific, but nevertheless, it'll be scientific. See why? Yes. So, Wujawa, I actually woke up. I woke up early in the morning. So I heard Amber, Brendan, and Wujawa finishing up really. I listened to like 5 minutes of that. So when Wujawa mentioned Paul Guthrie, I am aware of all of his arguments. I watched all of his videos. I downloaded all of his videos. I re-uploaded his videos. Paul Guthrie contacted me personally and said to take down his videos because he only wanted, which made sense. He wanted, when people look for his videos, he wanted them all go to his channel. He was trying to drive traffic to his channel. So he said that's the main reason why he don't want people uploading. He said, thank you for trying to upload it and share this information. But he said, take it down because I want all the traffic to come to me in case somebody's trying to reach me, through the videos. So yeah, on board of the wheel, they're called. I got all of them. We can definitely play them and listen in. Y'all let me know. We can comment. Y'all let me know if you're interested in that. But I got to be fair and say, Dr. Bashir Muhammad made a video responding to Paul Guthrie's series of videos. So we have both sides. All right. But yeah, I'm very aware of him. I know people who contacted him and asked questions and things like that. He's aware of us because when he was doing his thing, we were already doing ours. So what you just heard was my boy Mr. B talking to Kaleem over 6 years ago. So we were definitely around the same time as Paul Guthrie, or probably most likely before him. All right. So with that, thanks for chiming in. We're going to chop it up. Again, look, when the video goes off, right? Because this is what some people do. When I stop the live, go and comment on the video and give us some things you want us to talk about. Whatever the subject may be. Give us some ideas so we could be more diverse in our content. All right.